Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another product review. And the product that we're going to be taking a look at today is an ultra slim tactical flashlight. Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that before, but it's from a very reputable company, Nitecore, and we're going to be taking a look at the EDC25. Now, the Nitecore stuff is usually pretty top of the line, might not be on the same level as, let's say, Surefire or Streamlight, but it's definitely up there. And these can be a little bit on the pricey side as compared to other offerings that you might find on the typical sites. So I want to unbox this. I want to see what this light is all about. We'll test it out here in the garage, see if it's worth your time and worth your money, and maybe compare it to other lights. After all, this is an ultra slim tactical flashlight. I don't know how that's going to work. So let's unbox this and see what it's all about. So here's the box. The EDC25 light from Nitecore comes in. It says that it is an ultra slim tactical EDC flashlight. It boasts 3,000 lumens. Here on the side, max output 3,000 lumens. Max intensity is 22,500 candela. Maximum distance 300 meters. It's impact resistant to 1 meter, and its IP rating is IP54. Here's the information on the box. It definitely looks like it's a thin light. Looks like, of course, we're going to have a lithium-ion battery in this. It says accessories, a lanyard, and a USB-C charging cable. So let's go ahead and open this and let's see what is in the box. So we open it up here, and there's the light. So let's go ahead and get the light out of the box first. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And then, of course, we get the other accessories here. We get the lanyard, and we get the USB-C charging cable, and we get some Nitecore stuff, and of course, the owner's manual. But before we figure out how this thing works, let's take a look at it. And yes, this is very different than many other lights that I have reviewed. It is definitely ultra slim. We have two emitters here on one end. And I'm curious why they call this a tactical flashlight. Normally a tactical flashlight would be something that you could carry in your other hand. This looks more like a utilitarian flashlight, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty darn bright. We got some buttons here on the back, on, off, another pad. We have a clip. There's all of the writing on it. It seems to be well built, I will say, for what it is. It feels pretty hefty and chunky. Feels pretty substantial. So it's not a piece of plastic. This is definitely aluminum. So let's see if this thing is charged up. I may have to charge this thing up. And of course I'm getting a light here saying it's locked. So I'll have to figure out how to turn this on. So I guess I'll have to go read the owner's manual. So let me open this thing up and I'll figure out how this works, and I'll come back to you and let you know. So I spent a few minutes trying to figure out how this light works using the owner's manual, and I did figure it out, but this is one of those lights that you're just not going to pick up and intuitively figure out how it works. So if you're going to carry this, you kind of almost in a way have to train with it. It just doesn't simply turn on and off. When you get it out of the box, it's going to be in a fully locked mode, and to unlock it, you have to push the power button down quickly, release, and then hold it, and you'll see some blue lights on this side light up, and you have to wait for them to go all the way to 4. So hopefully I can time this right. So we go 1 and then hold, and it did not do it that time. You really have to time this right, and didn't do it that time either. So I'll go a little bit faster, and it worked that time. So you gotta go quicker, and it will start up on the lowest setting. The green lights tell you the power reserve of the battery, and the blue light will tell you the level. So if it's one light, we're on the ultra low setting. And to go between the settings, you have to push down the power button, but not all the way, only halfway. So the first click, second click, third click, and you go all the way to the brightest setting, the turbo mode. And if you want to turn it off, you click the button all the way down. The other pad is the customizable mode, which essentially is if you push that, it goes straight to full power. Immediately you let it go and it turns off. If you want to go to a strobe mode, you would hold this down and push the power button. And there it goes. And that's how that light works. Now, this light will get very, very hot, and it has 2 lock modes if you want to put it back in the lock settings. So what you'll need to do is turn the light on, and we'll go to a different mode here, a lower mode. Then we're going to push the button down again, the power button, all the way down. And if you wait until the red light here at the top blinks 1, it's in half lock mode, which will allow you to access the brightest setting using this button, but the rest of the light will be off. Or if it blinks twice, it will be in full lockout mode and none of the features will work. So let's see if we can go to half lock mode, hold this down, and there we go. So now we're on half lock, so I can't turn it on, as you can see, using the power button. But if I use this button in the back, it will go right to full power mode. And then, of course, if I want to turn it back on and unlock it, we got to do that weird quick click and then long click. It powers back on, and now we're back. And if we want to go to full lockout mode, we'll hold it down even longer until the red light clicks 2 times. So there's 1, 1, 2, and now we're in full lockout mode, and it is completely off. And that is probably going to be very important because this light can get pretty darn hot. So let me now talk about the power settings of this light. I believe it has 4 power settings, and according to the manual, the technical data is on turbo, it's 3000 lumens, high 1000 lumens, mid 200 lumens, low 65 lumens, and ultra low is 15 lumens. And the strobe is also 3000 lumens. So it's a pretty darn bright flashlight, and something I really like about this is that the ultra low mode is bright enough, I think, to functionally use. Sometimes these lights will have a 1 lumen setting, which for me is completely unusable in all circumstances. So that is definitely usable. So that's what this light is all about. You gotta kind of have to memorize how to operate this light, what all the buttons do, how it works for you to carry it. It's a little bit more complex than what I would want it to be. But let's see what the light looks like here in the garage. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the light, and let's test this thing out in all settings. So I have the lights turned off here in my garage, and I have my camera pointed towards that little alcove in the back. So let's turn on this light and see what it's all about. And here we are on the ultra low setting. It has a definitive hotspot, and being 15 lumens, I think this is very functional for some applications. I told you earlier that I don't like many of the firefly modes of lights because I think that they are too dim. Now let's go to the low mode, and definitely lights up a little bit more. Still pretty focused when it comes to the light. A little bit more spill now. Next setting. And now we're getting into what I think would be a setting most people would use. That's pretty darn bright. And the next setting, even brighter. And that is definitely very directional, as you can see. The spill only goes out so far. The rest of the garage is pretty bright. Now, when I think I go to the turbo mode, I believe both of the emitters come on. And that's what we're going to get now. And yes, this thing lights up the garage. This is exceptionally bright. Wow. And I can tell you from just holding it on this setting, it does get pretty darn hot. Wow, it's already starting to warm up. So I can see how it's going to have some type of timer, which it does, to turn off after a certain length of time. And as I'm holding that turbo button down, you can see the light will dim after just a few seconds. And I can see how the heat of this thing could get dangerous if you left it on for too long. So it's a super powerful light, and I'm sure glad they have that timer. But that bright setting is exceptionally bright. And this light is starting to get really, really hot. So that's what this light is all about. Man, that's powerful. So let me turn the lights back on, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, and something I want to do before I give you my final thoughts on this EDC light from Nitecore is I got a laser thermometer out, and I wanted to show you how hot this is getting. So the base of this is getting up to about 120 24, 25, 27 degrees, somewhere in that range. And hopefully you can see that. And it is getting quite hot. So that is because the power output of this light is extremely bright. So you can't have this thing on the high modes or the turbo modes for very long. I mean, it is not comfortable to touch, and I can see if this thing is on for a prolonged amount of time and you put it down on something that could potentially have a low melting temperature like foam or something, you might start a fire with this, and that's why they have all those safety features built in. But this light gets really hot because it is so bright. So what are my final thoughts on the EDC25 from Nitecore? And let me show you this light once more. They say it's a tactical light, but I don't understand its application in a tactical purpose. This is a really interesting design. It would obviously fit in your pocket really well. I can see it as an EDC light, but not a tactical light. Because of the slim design, it would fit in your pocket and not take up a lot of real estate, but it gives you a lot of settings. I think the two downsides to this light, I've already shown you one, is that it does get exceptionally hot on the bright settings. And the other thing is you have to remember how to use all the different buttons. This isn't just something you can pull out of your pocket, push a button, and it's on. You have to know how to use it. So you have to train with it and remember all of the settings. I kind of wish it was a little bit more intuitive, but when it comes to its function, it's absolutely great. It's exceptionally bright. It has lots of settings, and I think many people are going to like that. So on my star system, how would I rate the EDC25 from Nitecore? Well, I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 stars because it has those two downsides. It's not intuitive to use, and it definitely gets hot, but it is one of the brightest flashlights I have ever reviewed here at the Texas Gun Vault. So, lots of pros and just a couple of cons. But I think for some people that are looking for a basic EDC light, the cons might outweigh the pros. But that's up to you, how you carry and what you're looking to get out of your EDC light. So let me know what you think about this light in the comments section below. Do you like its slim profile? Do you mind it gets really hot? Do you like how unintuitive the controls are? Some people may really like that if you're kind of a geek and like to have all those switches and things. I just like to have a basic button and turn the light on, but that might be something you really like. So let me know in the comments section below, and as always, thanks for watching.